Hello. Welcome to part 5 of the Provider Web Portal Training video series. This video focuses on the Care Management tab found on the navigation bar at the top of the Provider Web Portal, also known as PWP. In this first section, we will explore the Create Authorization subpage of the Claims tab. Providers can create a prior authorization or view previous authorizations. It is best practice to visit this subpage prior to rendering services to a recipient. First, log into the PWP. The My Home tab will be the default view. If you need assistance logging in or navigating the home page, please refer to part 2 of this series. After logging into PWP, you will be directed to the My Home page. From the home page, click the Care Management tab on the top navigation bar. You may navigate to the Create Authorization section within the PWP in 2 ways. First is by clicking the Create Authorization subpage in the light blue navigation bar. In this example, we will click the link found under Authorizations that reads Create Authorization. The Create Authorization panel will appear. First, select the authorization type. Some sections will be different depending on whether the authorization type is medical or dental. For this example, the default option, medical, is chosen. Then, choose an appropriate process type from the drop-down list. This example is showing outpatient, medical, surgical. The requesting provider information is automatically populated with the provider ID and name of the provider associated with the user that is logged in. If there is more than one service location associated with this NPI, select the applicable location detail from the drop-down menu. Then, move to the recipient information section, specifically the recipient ID field. Enter the 11-digit recipient ID. The last name, first name, and birth date will populate automatically. Enter referring provider information using one of 3 ways. First, you may check the referring provider same as requesting provider box, as shown in this example. Second, choose an option from the Select from Favorites dropdown. This dropdown displays a list of providers that the user has indicated as favorites. Lastly, enter the provider ID and ID type. Both fields must be completed when using this option. Additionally, you may click the Add to Favorites checkbox after entering a provider ID to add it to the Select from Favorites dropdown. Enter service provider information. You may complete the service provider information section similarly to the referring provider information section. Check the box at the top as shown in this example if the service provider is the same as the requesting provider. Select the service provider from the Favorites dropdown or provide the provider ID and ID type. If more than one service location is associated with the NPI, the applicable service address must be chosen from the service location dropdown. Additionally, you may add the servicing provider to favorites by clicking the checkbox in this section. Scroll to the diagnosis information section. The process type previously selected determines the fields presented in the service details panel. All authorizations will require at least one diagnosis code, service details, and at least one electronic attachment. All attachments must be submitted electronically with the exception of dental x-rays or dental molds which may be sent via mail. Click the diagnosis code field to begin entering the first one. The first diagnosis entered is considered to be the principal or primary diagnosis code. The portal allows for up to 9 codes to be added. Enter the diagnosis code without decimals. You may search if necessary by entering the first 3 letters or numbers of the code to use the predictive search feature. Click the Add button to add each diagnosis code. Moving on to the Service Details panel, you will enter the service the provider intends to provide. Please check the billing guidelines and manual to know exactly how many days ahead of time a prior authorization needs to be requested. Complete the first required field with the requested future start date of the service. You may enter the date using your keyboard or by selecting it from the calendar icon as shown in this example. The through date will automatically be calculated when the service line is added to the PA by clicking the Add Service button. The through date will be based on the number of days requested without the addition of a day for the date of discharge. Service lines with overlapping dates are not allowed. Codes are searchable. Click on the code field and enter the first 3 numbers or description of the code to use the predictive search. Click on the appropriate search result. Complete the units and medical justification fields. The medical justification field allows for up to 6,000 characters. If your National Provider Identifier (NPI) is tied to multiple provider types, please enter the provider type associated with the authorization request in the medical justification field. Click the Add Service button to add the service line to the PA. Attachments are required for all prior authorization requests. Requests are not considered submitted unless there is an attachment. If an attachment is added at a later time, the request will be considered submitted at the time the attachment is added. First, read the information at the top of the Attachments panel. To include attachments electronically with a PA request, complete the 3 required fields. Select the Add button to attach your file. Repeat the steps for additional attachments if applicable. The combined size of all attachments cannot exceed 4 megabytes. To remove any attachments that were attached incorrectly, use the Remove link found on the right in the Action column. Again, the attachment section is required to be completed and at least 1 attachment is required. Click Submit once all required and appropriate fields have been completed. The Confirm Authorization page will appear. Review all of the authorization details for accuracy. Use the Back button at the bottom left to return to the Create Authorization page if errors are present. After all of the information has been reviewed, select the Confirm button to send your authorization for processing. The Authorization Receipt page will display the authorization tracking number. This number is used to track your authorization in the portal. To print, copy, or create a new authorization, select the appropriate button based on the descriptions provided. In this section, we will explore how to view a prior authorization status. First, log into the PWP. The My Home tab will be the default view. If you need assistance logging in or navigating the home page, please refer to Part 2 of this series. After logging into PWP, you will be directed to the My Home page. From the home page, click the Care Management tab on the top navigation bar. The user may navigate to the View Status of Authorization section within the EVS portal in 2 ways. First is by clicking the View Authorization Status subpage in the light blue navigation bar. In this example, we will click the link found under Authorizations that reads View Status of Authorizations. 2 tabs will be displayed on the View Authorization Status page. The Prospective Authorizations tab displays a list of authorizations with dates of service starting with the current date going forward, by either the requesting or servicing provider. If there are no authorizations to view, you will see a bar that says, "There are no authorizations to show." You can click on the column headings to sort the view of the last 20 authorizations. To view an authorization, click the link Authorization Tracking Number. You also have the ability to search for specific authorizations by clicking on the Search Options tab. To search for authorizations, you must enter information for at least one of the 4 sections listed on your screen: authorization information, status information, recipient information, or provider information. After entering information into the chosen search method, click the Search button at the bottom. The search results grid, which looks like the PA listing on the previous tab, will display PAs that match the criteria entered. As illustrated on the Prospective Authorizations tab, select the linked Authorization Tracking Number to view the statuses of the individual detail lines. Searches done without selecting a status will not display status information in the search results. The third subpage listed under Care Management is Maintain Favorite Providers. This section will show providers how to save frequently used NPIs so they may be selected from a drop-down menu when creating a prior authorization. This will allow for the convenience of not entering the NPI every time. Up to 20 providers can be added to the favorites list. First, log into the PWP portal. The My Home tab will be the default view. If you need assistance logging in or navigating the home page, please refer to Part 2 of this series. After logging into PWP, you will be directed to the My Home page. From the home page, click the Care Management tab on the top navigation bar. The user may navigate to the Maintain Favorite Providers section within the PWP portal in 2 ways. First is by clicking the Maintain Favorite Providers subpage in the light blue navigation bar. In this example, we will click the link found under Authorizations that reads Maintain Favorite Provider List. Enter the facility or provider ID and ID type. If you do not know the ID and type, click the magnifying glass for a provider lookup. The provider search page allows you to search by ID or search by name when clicking on the Search by Name tab, and search by organization when clicking the Search by Organization tab. Click Add once you have entered the information for the provider you wish to add as a favorite. The provider will be added to the favorite providers list. To delete a provider from the list, click the Remove link under the Action column for that provider. The final subpage listed under Care Management is Authorization Criteria. This section is accessible from the main webpage as well and does not require a login to be used. When logged in, providers have the convenience of the information pre-populating in this area. First, log into the PWP. The My Home tab will be the default view. If you need assistance logging in or navigating the home page, please refer to Part 2 of this series. After logging into PWP, you will be directed to the My Home page. From the home page, click the Care Management tab on the top navigation bar. The user may navigate to the Authorization Criteria section within the PWP in two ways. First is by clicking the Authorization Criteria subpage in the light blue navigation bar. In this example, we will click the link found under Authorizations that reads Authorization Criteria. The Authorization Criteria page appears. The provider type will default to the logged-in provider's type when the Authorization Criteria page is accessed from the secure portal. The defaulted provider type can be overridden. Complete all of the fields marked with a red asterisk. The three non-drop-down fields use a predictive search feature. By entering the first three numbers or letters of the description, a list of matching options appears. Click the appropriate search result to populate the field. In most instances, the provider specialty field is not necessary and may not be required. If you enter a specialty and the search yields no results, please recheck with the provider specialty field blank. After all of the search criteria has been entered, click the search button to display the search results. Thank you for watching Part 5 of the PWP training video series. Please explore the other videos in this series for more information on the topics listed on the screen. This concludes this installment of the PWP training video series. Should you require further assistance, please contact Gainwell Technologies, the fiscal agent for Nevada Medicaid, by phone or email. The contact center may be reached at 1-877-638-3472. Emailing Nevada Provider Training at gainwelltechnologies.com will connect you with the field service team. Please include your NPI and other pertinent information to be routed to the appropriate representative. Further information related to Nevada Medicaid can be found on the website at medicaid.nv.gov. This video was produced by Gainwell Technologies on behalf of Nevada Medicaid. Thank you for watching.